Hello, founders. We are going to go through another pitch deck, and I'm going to do a critique and review, and then we are going to add some additional comments to help this founder make it pop. Because this founder has got some very good deep technology. We are looking at deep tech. This is very important to understand where we are going. It's a really big market. Plus, it's all about sustainability, sustainable fashion. It's a global product, and we need to basically raise millions of dollars to make this happen because the market is worth billions of dollars. So this is a really great deck, a great opportunity, great founder, great technology, great solution. All the things are lining up for it. So we are going to take a look at this deck and make sure that we can position it properly. I'm going to critique it and make suggestions on what this founder can do. Before we continue, my name is Ed Kang, 7-time funded founder with 2 exits. Fancy way of saying I have failed a bunch of times, especially raising pre-seed and seed funding early stage founders. But that's to your benefit because I like to use videos like this and my YouTube channel to help founders of all stages, but especially early stages, avoid some of the catastrophic mistakes that I've made. Not to say you are not going to make mistakes. You will make mistakes. We all do. But I'm going to try and make your life a little bit easier by learning from my mistakes. I'm also the Chief Strategy Officer for Startups.com. I have raised over $100 million for my startups, other startups, startup funds, as well as I work with a team that has raised over $750 million for other people's startups as well. We've been around, we've done it. If you're part of Startups.com, thank you so much for being a part of this community. Appreciate all your support. Love to hear it. If you're not part of Startups.com, check us out, startups.com, just as the URL says. It's right in the title, easy to get to. And if you want your pitch deck reviewed, just leave me a comment or send it to me at advisor@startups.com. I'm happy to get you in the process. We have a lot of pitch decks in the queue, so please, if you're waiting for one, be patient. We'll try to get to them. You don't have to be a member. Happy to help out as many founders as possible. While you're here, do the YouTube thing, like, comment, subscribe. Always appreciate it. Let me know if you like these deep dives and what else that we can do for you. Let's jump into this pitch deck. NanoDie-X. So first of all, what we need to basically say is that this deck has a technical version, and I've already seen the technical version, and since I am not technical, I do not worry about that. I'm trusting the founder to communicate in the technical deck everybody needs to see. We are looking at the non-technical, so this is for investors that are maybe interested in the space and have some idea but don't need to see all the details, the bells and the whistles, the chemistry, all the tech. They just need to know it's a good investment idea. This technical deck might be fine, but you're going to be missing out on a lot of investors that could maybe even introduce you to the technical type investors. So we don't want to use any inside language, and we want to especially avoid alienating the founder and getting to the point where they say, yeah, this is interesting, and maybe they go get a technical person to help them evaluate. We want to make sure it's accessible as possible for the investor, and a lot of founders get into trouble. But what we're going to do is we are going to get rid of this marketing fluff. So we have NanoDie-X, next level circular knit textile dye. I don't even know what that is, so we're going to get rid of that. Sustainable fashion, we're going to get rid of that. Disruptive innovations for the textile sector, we're going to get rid of that. Why? That's all hype. This all says buzzy keywords, means nothing to the investor. They're sick and tired of it. I just want a simple explanation of what this startup does. Now, I've done some research, and I've talked to some of the advisors, talked to Will Shorter, CEO of Startups.com, and he explained to me. And I'm going to give you a preview. All of you, especially this founder, Lon, if you're listening, this is for you. This is what I understand. My understanding is that your technology can take an existing textile dyeing machine, upgrade it so that the company, the factory, doesn't have to go and get a whole new machine. Right there. Now, that is amazing. And by upgrading it, it's going to become compliant. There's a whole bunch of environmental, it's a climate tech, clean tech sort of thing, and it's socially responsible. It's going to look great for the customer because that's what they're looking for. So instead of the company or the factory going out and buying, and I know you're talking to some really big brands out there, and this is to the credit to this founder. He's got the hustle. Been traveling to India, he's going to go to China, and he's talking to the big brands out there, and they're like, yeah, absolutely. This is it. This is why there's a big B for billions at the end of this target market, and that's the reason I'm super excited and happy to help this founder, because this is a type of investment that investors, startup investors, are looking for, because you will 5, 10, 50x, 100x your money. You want to make sure that you're speaking to them in a way that they understand, and that's what my understanding is this technology does. Instead of going and buying a new machine, taking all those costs, you can just upgrade your current machinery and you're going to be golden. You're off to the races. That's what I understand. And I've told all of you this up front because I want you to think about what I just told you. I just explained to you the problem, the market, the solution, everything. I'm going to get you to then take a look at this pitch deck, and you're going to see a disconnect. What I'm able to pitch to you right here directly and what is in this pitch deck are completely disjointed, and that's what we need to fix. Here's the problem statement. I like the fact that we've got problem up in the top left corner. That's good. Cotton knit dyeing plants face losing over $100 billion in orders as retailers demand newer, more eco-friendly machines, but conversion costs are prohibitive. We are getting there. Close. All right. Here's what I want to know. I want to know how many machines or how many are out there? How many machines or how many factories? If you're going to tell me that there are 3 million machines, then I want to know how much. All right, and get rid of all this stuff over here, okay? That's not important. This is all buzzy hype. Investors are going to gloss over it. But I want to know how much. Let's say there are 100,000 machines that need to get upgraded, and that would cost literally $2 billion. I'm just making up these numbers. Then say that in here and say that there are 100,000 cotton knit dyeing machines in the world that need to be upgraded that will cost $2 billion to upgrade so that they can create more eco-friendly orders or tap into the $100 billion in orders or something like that. You see how I am making the problem extremely relevant and very, very clear. Like I'm putting teeth on the problem so that the investor understands. Let me hammer this point in. All right. You can't just say, oh, it's $100 billion and this needs to occur as retailers demand, et cetera. That's just opinion. I want to know size, scope, and severity of the problem. Basically say this is how many people, start with your customer, start with the user. So this is how many factories or how many machines need to get upgraded that would cost X amount of dollars that could lead to $100 billion in extra business. Or if they don't spend the $2 billion, they will lose the $100 billion in business because people are demanding more eco-friendly brands, social sustainability, ESG, all this stuff. I don't know how you look at that. You're going to know better what the industry needs as far as hot buttons are concerned, but we're close with the problem statement. Once again, tell me size, scope, and severity. This is close. Get rid of all the other buzz hype and tell me what this costs. It's very acute. We're explaining. Now, we say Nano DyeX converts cotton textile plants to net zero impact eco-friendly processors by modifying their existing plants at a fraction of the price, enabling them to earn billions in new revenue. That's closer, but it's still disjointed. I think you've got another solution statement here. Nano DyeX transforms cotton dyeing plants into eco-friendly processors at a fraction of the price, enabling them to achieve net zero impact and generate billions in new revenue. Okay, so when you say, we've got some options here. When you say how much you're converting, that needs to be explained very clearly. What is it? Like at a fraction of the cost, what does that mean? If you're saying that you've got a 10x solution and you can make it a 10x solution, then great, explain that it costs 10% of what it would cost normally. So if it's $2 billion, we can do it, or every machine at 10% of the cost, allowing them to increase profitability. But on top of that, you need to explain what exactly it is. So when I read this at first, I was like, what exactly is it? Is it a consulting service? Is it a machine? Anything like that? And basically say Nano DyeX is a machine that attaches on, I don't know what it looks like. We can get this into this a bit later. But again, I'm not technical. So I just need to know, is a machine, it's a part that upgrades these existing cotton machines at a fraction of the price so that they can produce eco-friendly material and become compliant or something like that. Now, if you're saying it's eco-friendly, I also want to know how much does it reduce carbon emissions by 50% or something along those lines? What is it? Get me some teeth on these numbers and explain it to me, but be super clear what the solution is. What is it? So right away, explain what it is. It's the same way that I want people to tell me it's a software, it's an app, not just what it does or what you're promising, but is it a marketplace? Is it hardware? What is it? So what is it? And how much does it actually make it effective? Is it a 10x solution? So to earn billions in new revenue, it doesn't matter, okay? Who cares about this? Just say you can capture all that revenue, but what this does is modify existing plants at a fraction of the cost. That's all you have to do. And so you can say eco-friendly net zero. So are you saying 0% impact, net zero impact eco-friendly processors? Well, if that's the case, I think that's what net zero means. Not exactly sure if that's the actual 0%, but who knows? Let's take a look at it and you'll know better than me. Change this solution statement to be just as effective and detailed as the problem statement. And I think it goes without saying, don't have two solution statements. How it works. So the next slide that should be after this, it should be the market slide. You should explain, and you should be explaining about how many machines. We'll get to the market slide in a moment. Our NDX plug-and-play system easily integrates with dying plants. Okay, here's the thing. This should have been the solution statement, or at least part of it. NDX plug-and-play system. It easily integrates plants' current equipment, shifting to circularity, zero impact by recycling, repurposing all waste. You could have said that in the solution statement. Our NanoDye-X is a plug-and-play system that easily integrates with current dyeing plants' equipment to shift it to circularity or reduce zero impact, make it zero impact by recycling and repurposing all waste. That's a great statement right there. At a fraction of the cost, like is it a 10x solution? How much less is it, right? And then here, this is the interesting thing. Now, this, how it works, I don't need to know all this. This is all technical, right? I just need to know what it is. So if I had a slide with, this is the current machine, and then here's NanoDye-X, and then this is the other machine, and it like bolts on or something along those lines, or what exactly is this in terms of how many extra pieces of machine equipment? This is for the non-technical investor. I just want to know, is it this sort of thing? Like basically, are you adding this? What is that? Explain that to me in a way as if you've come to my junior high and I'm a student and you are talking at career day, right? Now, all this, you could be putting this in a special sauce slide in terms of this is how it works, and basically say it runs cleaner, 10x faster, all this stuff. This is fantastic, right? Patent pending. Explain in a special sauce or the features or your competitive advantage. We'll figure out where to put that. But right here, this is what I would add to your solution statement, really base it off that. And then when you get to how it works, I would say A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. It's step 1, step 2, step 3. This is what happens. Maybe show a schematic and see how easy it is, or all the different steps, all the details, and what it takes to upgrade and convert the current machinery. Value proposition, our advanced dyeing, dye stuff filtration, circulation, water treatment. All this, I don't care. If you're going to include this, put this in an index later on, or an appendix. Appendix is probably the better word. The technical appendix at the end. All this, I am not going to read this. An investor is not going to read it whatsoever. Let me just repeat what I'm looking for, and want you to take notes out there. You go problem, solution, market size, how it works, business model, and then competition, competitive advantage. If you want to add a special sauce, go how it works, special sauce, business model, right? Just chunk those two together. And the reason we put competitive advantage after competition is, well, look at our competitors and look how much we're different. Look what we can do better than everybody else. And then you have your team after that, because now we're the team to pull it off. Then you have your traction. Look at what we've done. I have other videos in terms of order. If you're part of startups.com, feel free to contact me. I'll talk about this all the time. But these big walls of text, these slides, I'm not going to look at. And an investor doesn't care. We'll appreciate that they're there. And if you have a technical person that wants to know, put it at the end, at the appendix, and just say, here's the technical specs on conventional dyeing versus NanoX. If there is anything that you do, you can put in how it works or competition. Would be a great competitor slide in the sense that make it very simple and have conventional dyeing versus NanoX and just have some quick bullet points. It does this. Does it recycle water? Does it do this? Does it do that? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Right? But all this detailed information, not interested. And a regular investor, non-technical, is just going to gloss over this and will not care. Here's another value proposition. I don't care. Zero impact. I care about that, which is a good headline. But all the rest of this stuff just makes my eyes glaze over. Do not care. Market size. This should have been your third slide after problem solution, right? Our initial entry is in the market. Now, this is way too confusing, right? So this is what I'd rather see. Tell me right at the top, this is how many machines are in the world. How many of these machines are in the world, to give investors an idea of what is the target we're looking at. And basically say, if all those machines paid us the money that we need to make, then we would make billions of dollars a year, right? That's all you have to do. So there's your TAM. So just have a big headline and say there are 100,000 of these machines in the world. And then say if all of them converted, show the math, we would be making all this money in a year, right? And obviously that's TAM, that's pie in the sky. And you're going to say that we are going to focus on this market And here are who we're going to focus on. And this is the number of machines and times how much money we're going to make. This is your SAM. That's it. And if you want to get complicated, you can put SOM in later on and say, this is what we realistically make. But this is good enough. Tell me how many machines. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to put you in the mind of the investor. The investor wants to know a novel insight as to how big this market is. And you basically could say, let's say there's 10,000 of these machines out there. I doubt it. They would say, oh, so it costs what? Like $2 million or $1 million each machine. 10,000 times $1 million. That's a massive market right there, right? So you have to explain and put a picture, plant a seed in the investor's mind. This is how big the market is. We've got the technology. If they go with us and everybody uses us, we are making billions and billions of dollars. But if we just execute our plan and we focus on, let's say, China, Vietnam, India, which have these mandates in there, and we just get whatever, that amount of the market, just those countries, we're making, I don't know, $500 million. And then you say, if we execute our plan, SOM, realistically, we're making over $100 million a year. That's a great TAM, SAM, SOM. That makes sense to me. All this other stuff, I'm not reading it, I'm glossing over it, is precisely my point. So explain me TAM, SAM, SOM. Make this the third slide, please, after your cover. Fourth slide after your cover. And then traction, we need to see some traction. This is empty. I know I'm hammering Lon on the traction. And then team, and I need to see all that stuff, funding. And then financials. I wouldn't include the financials. So I'm going to walk you through exactly all the slides that I want you to put in. And this is for everybody else, very straightforward. And I'm going to walk you through in the context of this deck. So first, you're going to have your cover slide, and you're going to get rid of all the marketing hype, and you're just going to be very straightforward that you've got a patented plug and play to convert machines, something like that. 2, we're going to go problem. This is how many machines are in the world that need to convert, or they're going to pay so much money, and this is a major problem. Then you're going to do a 3. Here's the solution. We have a patented plug-and-play solution that converts machines at a fraction of the cost. And then 4, you're going to go into your market. So here's the market slide, right? Just very straightforward. Then 5, you are going to go into how it works. You're going to explain that it's patented. You're going to show how easy it is step by step. You're going to give the investor an idea of what they're looking at. Then 6, you're going to go in a biz model. This is how you make money. Do you charge by contract? Do you charge by machine? Are there ongoing fees? Explain it to the investor what that looks like. Then at 7, you are going to go straight into competition. There might be a market slide, go to market slide, but I don't think you need to do that. I think they're just going to assume that this is something you have to sell straight up. Then 8, I would probably put a competitive advantage, right? So I would say competitive advantage over all the other stuff that's happening out there. So in this, somewhere, you could basically put competition. This is the trad machine versus this is the NanoDieX machine. Right? So your competition slide. And the competitive advantage lists all the features that you've got. Patented this, circular water, recycling, all those things. So that's probably what I do in terms of the competitive advantage slide. So you have competition, competitive advantage, and then you're going to put the team slide. This is your team and all your accolades, how much you worked on the problem. Then 10, I am going to put traction. These are all the contracts. These are all negotiations. These are all the brands that we're talking to right now, because I know you're talking to brands. I know you're hustling out there with traction. And then 11, this is your ask, how much you're going to raise. And then 12, this is going to be your back cover. Pretty straightforward in terms of your deck. 12 slides. That's what I'm looking for. I've gotten you started on how to adjust, but I think you've got something. Like I said, it's a great problem to solve. It's a great solution. And I know for a fact, being in China, that literally the Chinese government, and I know you know this, but I'm going to explain for everybody else. The Chinese government will literally come to your factory and mandate that you have to move, or you have to move away from coal or gasoline or whatever non-renewable energy, because they can't. They've got that type of government, and they will literally tell you. I know factory owners who've been forced those mandates, and they've pretty much gone out of business because they don't have the money to do that, or they get a government subsidy, something along those lines. But China can come in. It's not like the United States or North America where it's like, oh, there's a fine and you have to decide. No, it's do it or you'll be out of business. We're going to put you in jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. This is a pervasive problem. And not only that, it's a feel-good story for everybody around, and people are looking at it because global warming is not getting any better. So work on the messaging and the language here and do the thing. All right? Look forward to seeing the next version. Make sure you send me the next version. Go back and forth with you. That's it for this one. Like I said, if you're out there and you want your own pitch deck critiqued and reviewed, please leave a comment or just email it to advisor@startups.com. Make sure you mention this email. As always, appreciate if you just share this video and let them know that I'm here to help all of you founders out there. Watch some of these other videos on the screen. I appreciate any feedback, and I will see you in the next video.